Meanwhile, Nia, you are in this room with all these scrolls, and the big book in the center, and there's a single door, and there's a patio that leads back out into the mist. And the magic mouth has left. And she's basically told you that you need to find your way to the Great Avernian Calculation, a great tome that operates the Stygian library, so that you can access her library and come back out into Prismere, find a way back in. Right?
Oh, excuse me. Yes, I recall this.
And yeah, so you see the door, and then there's the room around you with the scrolls and the big book, and then there's the patio that leads back into the mist. What do you do?
Well, I don't think most of the scrolls will be of help with my current burdens, so I'm going to cautiously try the door.
It's unlocked. It's a fine brass knob with a Victorian-style door, of a cherry-colored wood.
In that case, I will attempt to stealthily enter, because my totally vandalized copy of The Lady and the Orc reminds me that there are creatures and spirits to watch out for ahead.
Carefully open the door and you look inside. It's very it's a lot of shadows are cast into the room. It's well lit, but only in certain parts, because an oil lamp lights the room. In particular, it shines down on a small desk that's laden with papers. Behind it, there are shelves stuffed with more paperwork. Behind the desk is a figure who seems to be doing paperwork. You can also see in here, well, from where you are, that's probably all you can see.
Okay. Now the picture's in black and white. Does that happen to be the white librarian that will catalog my soul?
You're not sure, but this strange humanoid figure in robes is doing paperwork and cataloging things and signing paperwork and using stamps. And she is wearing yellow robes.
Ah. Don't recall yellow being mentioned. But I think it may be... Is there any, like, a sign on the desk maybe that says what the person at the desk is there for, or?
It says help desk in common.
Oh. Then I would like to very cautiously approach, using as much shadows as I can to my advantage in case of any other people-ish entities. And assuming things are clear, I would like to ask for help.
Okay, so you go up to the desk and ask the person for help.
Yes.
Okay. As you enter the room, staying to the shadows, and then your shadow being cast back, from the oil lamp, and moving as you approach the desk, you see another door leading further into the library. You also see that there's shelves here with books that are chained. There's a section of books that are chained to the shelves. And these books are like big tomes. And then otherwise there's this desk, and there's the door and the oil lamp and tons of papers. Near the desk there's just tons of papers. As you approach the librarian, she looks up and she's like, "May I help you?"
Yes, I was told I could find within this great library the Avernian tome that could help me get to libraries.
Yes, of course. You'll find it on the farthest lower level. It's in the farthest, most inner part of the library, and she hands you one of those, I don't know, you're a little bit younger than me, but I think we still have when I was a kid, we had those libraries that literally had like, you had you know what I'm talking about? Like the drawer, and you had to like go through it to find where the cataloging was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has that, and then she writes it on it and hands you the catalog.
I gratefully accept it, thank her, and then begin my merry way.
All right, and she gives you a +3 to your progress. So I'll literally like progress you further into the Stygian library using that. Okay, and then I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said?
I said I will thank her and gratefully accept it and be on my merry way.
Okay. Do you go back the way you came, or check the papers or the books, or do you open the door, or what do you do next?
Well, the way I came goes back to Misty Patio, so I'm gonna just take the other door, I guess.
All right. Let's see. When you open the door, it's another nicely made Victorian style door.
Yes,
It's
but
not
I do
locked.
so stealthily still because of my lovely, foreboding, vandalized tome of the Lady and the Orc.
Okay. When you open this door, it creaks. And as it creaks, it echoes inside of the next room, off the ceilings, and echoes back to you. As this is a vaulted chapel, and there are these pillars in the room. And it's got an altar up front for religious devotion of some sort. And there are rows of pews here. The altar is very simple. Has like some symbol of faith on it, and some candles nearby. And then on the altar there's a bowl and a sacrificial knife laying in it. And there are books. There's an open book on the altar. Yeah, and then there's a door and an alcove on the left, leading further into the library.
All right. Well, does the knife in the bowl look at all familiar?
It looks like a fish fillet knife, but for people.
I continue through the next door.
All right.
I remain vigilant in my caution. I want to be as stealthy as possible as I make my moves.
As you go, there are papers strewn on the floor nearby that have fallen by nearby pews. They look like they've been scrabbled on by someone. And otherwise, yeah, that's all. That's the only other thing you see. And then the door itself is a large, narrow door that goes up much higher than the previous door, and it's banded.
I attempt to open it.
All right, it's not locked. Oh, it groans as you slide the door open, and this time it is. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, like that. Yep, and this room you can hear steam, like, and it's really hot in here. And there are no bookshelves in this room. But against one wall in the back is a big black iron furnace. And there's a tank underneath it where water is boiling. And big pipes channel the steam up into the walls in various places. And you can see that it's shaking, and it looks like it's under a lot of pressure. And you can see that on the opposite end of it is like a double metal door. And steam is shooting out like from pipes, and it looks really not in good repair.
Well, this part is certainly going to be unpleasant. Do I have any reason to believe that my blink dagger will not function properly in this place?
You could make an insight check. Otherwise, I don't know.
I will do that. 14?
You attempted to use it before and it worked.
Well, I'm assuming that the steam could potentially kill me, so I'm gonna try to blink to the next set of doors.
You use your blink dagger and you appear. I'm gonna roll a thing.
Ruh-roh.
You make it to the door. However, you see something there. On the opposite end, someone's desk is here. It seems that someone's desk has been put here in the boiler room. There are books on the desk, and you hear something coming from the door ahead. The doorknob is jingling as you hear the footsteps of several creatures coming in through the door.
I attempt to hide, but not under the desk.
All right, you've got the boiler, and then you've got the desk, and it's a barren room.
Are the hinges on this side of the door?
The hinges. Yeah.
Okay, then I want to hide in the corner behind where the door is going to open, and we'll just fucking wing it.
All right. You hear a sigh as the door opens, and the other footsteps speak to whatever this person is with the door opened and you're behind it. And then the others leave, and then a single figure enters the room in yellow robes. A different figure, but similar, and in yellow robes. And it sits down at the desk with its back to you, and starts to go through books and starts writing notes.
Does it appear to be working on like some kind of research, or is this clearly a task meant to demean it along with the desk being in the boiler room situation?
Both. It appears like it's been placed in the boiler room and is unhappy, but it also is working on something.
But like, is the task it's working on something it seems to enjoy despite its situation?
Yes, but obviously with the sighing and talking and coming in, it's like obviously unhappy to be here in the boiler room.
I will very meekly say, "Excuse me?"
Oh dear. What are you doing here? I'm sorry. I have important work to attend to.
I could just be on my way. I don't need to bother you. Is that door you came through deeper into the library for me?
Yes, it is. Why are you not in your robes?
I'm new?
I see. Well, if you're new, and it takes out a sheet, and it does some stuff and stamps it, and it hands you a memoranda that is like a standard form. It's like you can provide this form noting that that you were lost from your proctor, and this form, and it hands you another standard form that's been stamped, and it's like, and this form noting that I did take notice of this and that I've received receipt of your actions here, and then stamps another form, gives you another one, and it's like, And you'll need to take this form back back to the front. However, you'll need to go that way.
Meaning the way she just came from.
Yeah.
I thank her and then continue on my way.
All right. You notice as you do the lamplight that is illuminating this person's workspace. This person's face, like the person at the help desk, is similar. They're humanoid, the size of humans or elves, but their faces are pallid and white, and they're almost expressionless, and their eyes are deadened and sort of cancerous looking, and white and milky, and that's what they look like. And all right, let's see here. 4. That would be another one. 3. So we said 3. You open the door, and there's a lot of noise on the other side. And there's this big printing press here, a machine. It's obviously making copies of things. You don't see anyone here. It appears to be automated. And you can see it like stacking sheets and things and moving them around and making copies. Except that it's made of like black iron. You know, like imagine a big Kinko's, but instead it's made of like Victorian black iron, like imperial iron. Old-timey, but somehow automated. You can see, however, that there are some of the pipes coming through the ceiling in places and powering it through pneumatic power. Obviously, air is powering this machine. It's collecting into baskets, and then it goes into conveyors, and then these baskets of papers go into other places. And it creaks and clatters and grinds and stuff, and the papers just build up. And in some places, they've fallen over, and there's just piles of papers. And let's see, you can see that there are, instead of bookshelves on the walls here, there are actually letter boxes with stacks of forms and letters and papers. And then doesn't seem to be anyone else in here. The door is on the opposite side of the big printing press machine.
I keep up my vigilance just in case seeming to be no one here and someone not being here are totally different things, and make my way deeper.
Okay. You're able, if you choose, to make your way into, you open the door, and you can see a hallway for once. And it goes into, there are 3 rooms, and then there is like a door on the far end. There's like a... 1, 2... Actually, so there's 3 doors on the hallway, and then there is a bunch of noise coming from a door on the far end of the hallway. And there's nothing else of note in this bare-walled hallway. It has one of those things where the trim is like, if you were an adult, it would be waist high, the trim in the room, and it's plainly painted, like stucco, and then just like carpet.
Oh, wait a sec, sorry. Blah. Okay, I want to... Is there any indication of the doors as to what kind of rooms they lead to, or is it just the same door 3 different times?
It's the same door 3 different times. One on the right, one in the center, and one on the left. Now,
then
I will say, you hear noise coming from the center one. The kind of clanking and steam, that from the previous room that you were just in with the printing machine. And you hear like another like steam hissing noises coming from the left room. and then there's more loud noise coming from the room at the end.
Oh, they're all noisy?
Not the one on the right.
Then I will try that one, since that's kind of the sound books should be making.
All right.
Not noise.
It's a plain wooden door, like you might have a front door to a house. It's painted blue, and you open the door, and it opens inside, and it echoes again as there's this other big room, high arched. It's another chapel of religious devotion, except this chapel is it's odd. The pulpit on the front is like 15 feet tall and huge. It's like, and the pews are like 10 feet tall, as if this chapel were for giants. But on top of the pupil is this huge book. Yeah, not a huge book actually. Compared to a 15-foot lectern, it's like a book up.
Normal
you can see
size
a book
for that lectern?
well, it's big for you, but not for the lectern. Meaning,
Yeah,
you know,
that's what you're saying,
yeah,
it's the correct size relative to what it's on.
yeah. Meaning it's not like some 15-foot wide book. It's not silly. It's like this big.
No, yeah, I mean a 15-foot high lectern, it's probably like a fucking 5 or 6 foot wide book.
No. Maybe this wide. So it's big, but it's not. You could get it if you wanted it.
Oh, okay. Do I have any reason to suspect it's the book I'm looking for?
No.
Then I will keep on my merry way.
There's no doors here. So you go back out into the hallway, and then you've got the two other doors, and then the door at the end.
Yes, I will pick the second quietest door, since the quietest door did not help me.
Alright, it's also a painted blue door, and you open it, and once again, there is a printing press in here. And that's what you see. Yeah, and there's no doors. You notice, however, that when you look in here, so it's and it makes like these papers, but when the papers are shot out, every once in a while a paper will get loose, and when it flies here, it sort of hangs in the air, the sheet of paper does, and then falls, like the sheets of paper are like doing that.
And I see what one of the slowed papers is doing without getting much closer or touching them?
They're just falling, but very slowly.
I'm sorry, I meant like what's on them. Like, is there like a headline or something that would tell me what they are?
Make a perception check.
I can do that. 9. Apparently I can't do that.
It is hard to see. You'd probably need to enter the room and take a look at the papers.
I guess I'll try to grab one of the ones that's already fallen off the floor and see if that answers my question.
As you enter, all of a sudden you hear and like a light flashes, and one of the walls with all the correspondences opens, and there's a dark passageway in this room. And when you look at the papers, you see that they don't make any particular sense, except some of them are saying things. You get a sinking feeling that this is cataloging real events in the world as they happen. Like it says, like, I'm going to give you an example here. It says, this would be a good example. It says, oh gosh. It says, Emerald Outpost, Singorn, Secret of the Kingdom of Drasig, Treachery, at least 76% elf, half have died. And then list a bunch of like other numbers and percentages and things, and then it starts listing some events.
there's nothing I can do about this right now, so I'm gonna head down the passageway that opened, I suppose, to see if that's where I need to go.
You look in that passageway.
Yes.
It's dark, and it has the kind of shape of like stone, that then spirals down in the dark like one of those castle fortification things. So as you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I will stealthily descend, is all I was gonna say, with my awesome elf eyes.
You do that, and then it opens into one of the rooms that you were.
Already in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had the wrong thing here. Let me make sure that I got this right. Give me a second, because I don't want to disadvantage you. No, this goes into a different room, actually. When this door opens, like, and the shelves open here, and then there's this huge machine with steam pipes coming into it from outside, from in the ceiling and the floors and stuff. And then there are like gauges and stuff. It's obviously and there's like gears, some kind of clockwork mechanism that hisses and clicks and turns. And there is a how would Nia perceive this? Sean would know this to be a cathode ray tube monitor, but do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like you play Fallout, you know what I mean? It's like like it lights up, with like chemical
old
gases
TV.
inside. Yeah, old timey. And it's green. It's green and glass, and it has like I guess Neo would probably see this as some kind of scrying device. And there are all sorts of tiles. Sean would know this as a keyboard, but for Nia, there's like tiles with letters in common and numbers and punctuation. And then there's another door on the opposite end. Also of importance, oh boy, there are 4 people in this room that are working on things like this thing, and they look up at you, and they're wearing gray robes, and they say, you are not supposed to be in here.
Give me 1 second. Let me see here. Specifically gray robes, not white robes.
Gray robes, yeah. They have
Okay,
been mentioned.
Are they the... No, they're not. Why would they be talking to me if they were hungry spirits? I don't think gray robes were mentioned. I have white robes in here.
You'll need to wait here until the white librarians can come. We can't allow you to leave.
Oh, no, well, I took a wrong turn. I have this catalog card from the front desk. I'm looking for this book is all.
Let me see that.
I hand them the card.
Yes. Nevertheless, the white librarians will help you with this matter. I think perhaps we should take...
I feel like that's accurate. You know, I'm gonna have to go ahead and say probably not to that, because I don't feel like that would be beneficial to me if you took me while I'm looking for this book. So I'm gonna go ahead and just... And then I activate my dagger's blink to the door I need to go to.
Okay. Yeah, you blink past them, and then they point to you, and they some of them start typing and onto these tiles, into the machines. And another one is like, summon the white librarians and capture her, and they start to chase after you, and that's where we're going to end the session for the night.